The bloodstream transports countless substances essential for life. For this transport to occur, we have the cardiovascular system, which consists of two pumps connected to a network of tubes. This system ensures that blood reaches the various tissues of the body. In this lesson, we'll introduce the cardiovascular system, covering its function, types of pressure, and key aspects of pulmonary and systemic circulation. The primary function of the cardiovascular system is transportation. Through the blood, it delivers substances like oxygen, nutrients, water, electrolytes, and hormones to every cell in the body. It also carries waste products, such as metabolites, to be excreted by the lungs, kidneys, or liver. Even the heat generated by cellular metabolism is transported to the body's surface via the blood. To ensure that every cell functions properly, the blood flow to each region needs to be adequate. The higher the metabolic activity of a specific area, the greater the blood flow it requires. When the blood supply to a region is insufficient, this is called ischemia. Persistent ischemia can lead to tissue infarction, meaning the cells undergo necrosis. For this entire system to work, two types of transport occur: bulk flow and diffusion. During heart contraction, known as systole, the generated pressure propels blood rapidly over long distances through the blood vessels. Within 10 seconds, blood can reach even the farthest regions, such as the head and limbs. This is called bulk flow. For blood to move from one place to another, there must be a pressure gradient. Blood always flows from an area of higher pressure to one of lower pressure. This is referred to as perfusion pressure. Another type of pressure within the blood vessel is transmural pressure or distension pressure, which is the difference between the pressure inside the vessel and the pressure of the surrounding tissue. If the vessel ruptures, the blood spills out due to this transmural pressure. Diffusion, on the other hand, is the process by which substances are exchanged between the interstitial fluid and blood vessels, and vice versa. Molecules naturally move along their concentration gradient from a higher concentration to a lower one. For example, through bulk flow, blood carries oxygen, bound to red blood cells, to a tissue. The oxygen then diffuses from the blood into the interstitial fluid and eventually into the cells, where its concentration is lower. Similarly, cells consume oxygen and produce carbon dioxide, CO2, as a byproduct of metabolism. The CO2 then diffuses from the cells to the interstitial fluid and into the blood, where its concentration is lower. This CO2 is transported to the lungs and exhaled. The cardiovascular system has two circulations, pulmonary and systemic. Anatomically, the heart has two atria, right and left, and two ventricles, right and left, essentially functioning as two pumps, one on the right and one on the left. Deoxygenated blood, rich in CO2, enters the heart through the right atrium, moves to the right ventricle, and is pumped to the lungs via the pulmonary artery. In the lungs, CO2 is exchanged for oxygen in a process called gas exchange or hematosis. The oxygenated blood returns to the heart's left side via the pulmonary veins, completing pulmonary circulation. After that, the blood enters the left atrium, passes into the left ventricle, and is pumped into the aorta. The aorta then branches into several smaller arteries to ensure that blood is distributed to every organ in the body except for the lungs. As blood reaches the organs, the arteries branch repeatedly until they become arterioles and then capillaries, where the molecular exchanges previously discussed take place. Oxygen is delivered to the tissues, and carbon dioxide is collected. After these exchanges occur, capillaries become venules, which merge to form progressively larger veins. This venous blood, now rich in carbon dioxide, is transported to the vena cava, and its final destination is the right atrium. This is the systemic circulation. Typically, blood follows this path: arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins, a classic circulatory route passing through one capillary bed. However, there are exceptions. In the digestive system, for instance, we have the splanchnic circulation. Here, blood leaves the capillaries, flows into the portal vein, and is directed to the liver. In the liver, it enters another set of capillaries before reaching the vena cava and returning to the heart. When blood passes through two capillary beds before reaching the heart, this is called a portal system. One example is the hepatic portal system, but others include the renal portal system in the kidneys and the hypothalamic hypophyseal portal system in the pituitary gland. Each type of blood vessel in the cardiovascular system has specific characteristics suited to its function. In systemic circulation, 80% of the blood is found in the veins, while only 20% is in the arteries, arterioles, and capillaries. Arteries are high-pressure structures designed to quickly distribute oxygenated blood to the body's tissues. Arterioles regulate blood flow to different regions by contracting or relaxing based on demand. For instance, when a tissue needs more blood, arterioles relax to increase flow. When less blood is needed, they contract. Capillaries have thin walls designed for efficient molecular exchange between blood and interstitial fluid. For blood to flow from the left side of the heart to the right, there must be a pressure difference. The perfusion pressure generated by the left side is significantly higher than that of the right, ensuring blood flows from high to low pressure. Heart contraction is called systole, and relaxation is called diastole. When the left ventricle contracts, it ejects blood into the aorta, stretching the vessel and creating systolic pressure, typically around 120 millimeters of mercury. During diastole, when the heart relaxes and blood leaves the aorta, the pressure drops to a minimum, known as diastolic pressure, usually around 80 millimeters of mercury. By the time blood reaches the vena cava, the pressure is about 3 millimeters of mercury. The volume of blood ejected by the ventricles in 1 minute is called cardiac output, applicable to both sides of the heart. This class was an introduction to the cardiovascular system. In the next lesson, we'll talk about the electrical activity of the heart. See you next time.